Hey guys, it's me. It's been a long time, it seems like forever, and I'm having very serious flashbacks. Horrible, horrible flashbacks of last spring. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm hearing as early as sometime this week, like midweek, to as late as another week and a half. So I'm fine, just so everyone knows, absolutely no symptoms. But working and working and working and working. So I much rather be in the classroom with y'all. So let's get the show on the road, because I know that y'all are either going to watch this multiple times. I don't even know if y'all are going to be in the classroom or if y'all are going to be in one big thing. I don't know who's doing what. So just FYI, if your sub is showing this to the whole class, okay? Real quickly, substitute. They're taking notes as I'm writing. They are supposed to be writing. And there's a couple Franz that need to make sure they write the notes. Anyway, see, Franz, you miss me. I know you do. Anyway, pause the video every now and then so that they can catch up on doing notes. Okay? And also, if they have questions, guys, I can't, if you raise your hand, I can't help you. I don't see you. So your substitute will definitely be able to answer those questions. Otherwise, listen, if you're doing this, I heard tonight that y'all may be doing this on your own, like with headsets and watching your video on your own, which would also be fantastic, because then y'all can work at your own pace. If that's the case, you can pause the video just like last spring, but for new people, you just pause the video whenever you need to. You can kind of rewind it and watch it again, or I don't know what that's very old-fashioned, modern times. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. You can watch it as many times as you want if you're doing on your own. I'm hoping that's the case, because that would be great. However, if you have a question, your substitute, if it's who I think it's going to be, he is very good. He can help you answer any questions y'all have. If you have someone else, hopefully they can answer questions too. If not, I have no problem, as long as you wear your masks, helping each other out. Okay, so ask those that understand, please be there to help out the other students. Okay, I'm sure your sub can, but just in case, he may be busy with other students or something. So as long as y'all don't give answers and y'all actually teach each other, that'd be great. Again, this is temporary. Okay, so y'all may want to, okay, let's get started, because I know y'all don't want to sit and watch this forever. All right, 6.5, you're doing parallel and perpendicular. I'm going to go fast. All right, so you may need to do a lot of pausing and stuff. Okay, parallel and perpendicular lines. I'm going to skip some stuff, kind of like I did in the spring, because of, this is way too much to give you in one silly little video. So we're going to hit on just the basics, okay? I'm going to skip some things in there. If I see later on that we need to readdress it, I will. But right now, I think we're going to stick to just identifying parallel and perpendicular lines. All right, so parallel, just to remind you, parallel lines look like this, okay? It says it in the word. Perpendicular, they're lines that look like that, okay? They're not, these will cross, these never cross. All right, so let's get started. All right, refresh your course. The slope intercept form. Do y'all remember what that is? Hopefully you do. It is y equals mx plus b. Okay, there you go. Y equals mx plus b. Don't worry about standard form. You're going to learn a new formula today. So this y'all have memorized. Remember, this is your slope, okay? That's the letter B. That is your y-intercept, just in case you forgot, or now that we're doing this distance learning thing, you may have parents helping so they can be learning. Okay, the new formula, I'm putting a little star there, is called the point slope form. Okay, point slope form. Now, I can't remember, but I want to say last year, if you had me as a teacher, we did go over this, but I mean, you know, I know y'all remember this, but just in case, it is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? There you go. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'll explain what this is. This is exactly what you think it is. When we do those ordered pairs, remember how the last one you took, the first one says x1, y1, and then the next set of ordered pair was x2, y2? Well, that's what we're looking at here. You don't see any y2 or x2, so we're only dealing with one ordered pair. Okay? All right, here it's just going to be y and x, kind of like up here. They don't change or anything. They're just there. And then, of course, you've got your slope. All right, so I'm going to fast forward. Y'all don't have to have as many notes as the last several years. All right, we're going to go right into parallel lines. Now I'm going to do some examples. Parallel lines. Okay, what are they? Well, they have no points in common. No points in common. Basically, you know what that's saying? The lines never cross. That you think is common sense until you start graphing some of this stuff, and then you're going to forget all of that, okay? So you need to remember parallel lines have no points in common, meaning on a graph, picture the Cartesian plane, and you have two lines on there. They are never going to cross. They have no points in common. If these were your two lines, they would have this point in common. That's your perpendicular. Well, perpendicular, it forms right angles. But this is the point that it would have in common. If they were even like this, they would have that point in common. Parallel lines have no points in common. They never cross. But here's what's important about today. Look at that. 2 stars. That tells you how important this is. They have exact same slope. I'm going to put 2 stars here. Heck, I'm going to put 3 stars. There you go. 6 total stars. So what does that tell you about that? That's very, very important. Exact same slope. Okay? Both lines, this line and this line, will have the same slope since they're parallel. All right. Now, perpendicular lines. They, just like a refresher course, they meet at right angles. What degrees is that? That's 90 degrees. 90-degree angles. Remember, that's what I drew right there. Okay? Now here's important. Ooh, I'm going to put 3 stars again. See, how do I write this? Slopes are negative reciprocals. You know what that means? Slopes are opposite. 3 more stars. Okay, parallel lines have the exact same slope. Makes sense, right? Okay, there you go. The same slope. They're sloping at the exact same way. Perpendicular lines have opposite slopes. Absolutely opposite. This slope is going up and down. This one's going side to side. So they're complete opposite. They're called negative reciprocals. And any math teacher, math major, or probably even your sub is going to be annoyed by the fact that I tell you that the slopes are opposite. They probably will be. But negative reciprocals, I'm not going to sit here and explain it all to you. Just know they're the opposite, okay? We don't have time in distance learning to learn what that all means. You need to know they're opposite. Okay, so moving right along, let me give you an example of perpendicular. I'm not going to give you examples of parallel that are the same because the same means the same. But negative reciprocals, we're going to do some examples. So let's say slope 1 is 3. Okay, so the slope of line 1 is 3. Well, if it's perpendicular, the slope of line 2, that's positive 3, then it's going to be negative 1 over 3. Okay? So if the slope of line 1 is 3, positive 3, then the slope of the second line that's perpendicular is going to be negative instead of positive 1 over 3. So it's the opposite. How about this one? Slope of line 1 is negative 3, 4. Well, then if we're looking at perpendicular lines, the slope of the second line, if this is negative, this is going to be positive, and we flip it. It's going to be positive 4 over 3. Now take a look at that. If you need to pause it, you can. Look at that. And even your sub can give you some more examples, okay? So there you go. Do we see that? They're complete opposites. If this is positive, this one's going to be negative. If it's negative, then it's going to be positive. If this is a whole number, we make it into a fraction. If it's already in a fraction 3 over 4, then we're going to flip it. When I say complete opposite, I mean the sign and it's flipped. Okay? All right. Moving right along. Oh, dear. Where are those notes come from? I have 2 sets of notes here. Oh, no. Eesh. Okay. I'm lost. All right. So, let's see. Let's move on. Let's see. Let's turn the page. Let's do an example. Are these lines parallel or perpendicular? Oh, I ran out of room. Are these lines parallel or perpendicular? We don't know. Let's find out. Okay, so these lines, it's going to be 3x minus y equals 6. And negative 9x plus 3y equals 12. Okay, so the first thing you do, those are your 2 lines. We got to decide, are they parallel or perpendicular? Don't cheat and try to sit there and graph them. No. Don't do that. Because they're not going to always give you lines that'll work that way. They're going to give you some crazy fraction or something like that it's going to be hard to graph. But yes, I've been known to have students that do that. But first, put in slope, intercept, form. And find compare slopes. What is the slope-intercept form? That's that very basic, this one. Okay, so we're going to do that with both of them. 3x minus y equals 6. And over here, negative 9x plus 3y equals 12. All right, let's get going because I don't want to run out of time. Y'all got to do this. We're getting behind. All right, so we're going to switch that over. Negative 3x on both sides. Y'all know how to do this. We've been doing it all year, so I'm not going to pause for that one. Make sure that your x is first. All right, can I have a negative here? Can I have a negative there? No. You know what to do? Well, I've already taught you this. That becomes positive, that becomes positive, and that becomes negative. Very good. So we have our first line. What is the slope of that line? That's right. Slope is 3. Good job. Again, y equals mx plus b. I've already taught you this, so I'm going to start speeding up. Okay, this one, I'm moving this over. I gotta get this lesson done today. 9x plus 12. Alright, what do I need to do? Can I have 3y? No, you gotta have y all by itself. So, we're gonna divide everything by 3. I get y equals 3x plus 4. Y'all see that? If you need to, pause it, look at it again. There's my second line. What is the slope of this line? That's right, it's 3. So what are they? Are they the same slope or are they completely opposite slopes? Those bad boys are the same. That's right, those are the same. So if they're the same, are they parallel or perpendicular? That's right, they're parallel. There's your answer. Okay? So that's what you do. When you're given two lines and they say, tell us if they are parallel or perpendicular lines, all you do is put them in this format right here, both of them, and then just see what their slopes are. If they're the exact same, they're parallel. Now, let's pretend, and I'm going to write the word, pretend that this slope was 3 and this slope was negative 1/3. Are those the same? No. Those are opposites. So what would that be? That's right. Perpendicular. We're pretending. So those of you that dozed off and are coming back, this is not the answer. We're pretending that this slope was 3 and this slope was negative 1/3. They're the complete opposite, so that then would be perpendicular. But in this case, they're both the same, so they're parallel. Got it? All right, moving on. Okay. I think I'm going to jump into examples. Yep, I am, because I want to save on time. The only thing, I had one more example to do, but I can absolutely do that by the examples in your book. So I am. That's right. I'm cutting y'all's stuff short. Y'all going to be okay. One extra example is not going to make or break you. Okay, so go ahead, open up your books if they aren't already open. And substitute, if you are showing this to the whole class, make them pause the video, make them open up the books, and you have to check out each and every one of them because some of them won't do it. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, look at number 1. Read the directions to yourself. It says, state the negative reciprocal of each slope. All you're doing here is stating the negative reciprocal. Guys, remember, the opposites. Okay? Negative reciprocal means opposites. It's easier to remember than negative reciprocal. That's just messy sounding anyway. So they gave you the slope of 7. What is the opposite or negative reciprocal of 7? Positive 7. Correct. It is negative 1/7. That's positive. This is negative. See, one confusing thing is that it's called negative reciprocal. So a lot of kids truly think everything's about negatives because of that word. That's why I like to use the word opposites. I've been doing this for so many years, I know where kids mess up. Just saying the opposite actually does help. Positive, negative, that's a whole number, is now fraction. There's your answer. Not too bad, right? All right, number 3. The slope is negative 3/5. Okay, negative reciprocal, opposite. Okay, this is negative, so your next slope should be positive, and it's 3/5, so the opposite is 5/3. So positive 5/3. Let's do another. Let's say it's 4/7. Okay, the opposite of 4 over 7, positive 4 over 7 would be negative, and then 7 over 4. Oh yeah. Is that what that says? I wrote down my notes wrong. No, I'm right. I didn't do my notes correctly. Okay, very good. Got it? All right, let's move right along. 7. The directions say, state the slope of a line parallel to the given line. Okay, so they gave us negative 4x plus 6y equals 7. And they want a line. Wait, no. Oh, they want the slope of a parallel line. So this is your line 1. And they want the slope of the second line. It's parallel. So we're looking for slope of second line that's parallel. Okay, we're looking for the slope of the second line's parallel. This is line 1. All we're doing is looking for the slope, though, of the second line. So we need to change this first into y equals mx plus b, because we got to find the slope. All right, so let's get to work. Negative 4x plus 6y equals 7. In fact, I'm going to write first do this. All right, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides, and I get 6y equals 4x plus 7. All right, we're going to divide everything by 6. That cancels out, and I get y equals 4 over 6x plus 7 over 6. Now, you need to make sure that you reduce to lowest terms. You got to reduce that. Okay, so if you divide both by 2, you get y equals 2 over 3x plus 7 over 6. All right. Wait a minute. I think I did something wrong. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Okay. So, what is the slope of line 1? What is the slope of line 1? Well, if this is the format, the slope is 2/3. What is the slope of the parallel line that's to it? State the slope of a line parallel. Yeah. What would line 2's? If it was parallel, what would its slope look like? Okay, this is line 1. This is still line 1. Right here. Okay? That's the given. What they gave us, we had to put it in y equals mx plus b. Now we know the slope of line 1, which is 2/3. But what is the slope of line 2? We don't know what the line looks like, but what would the slope be if it's parallel? It's going to be the same thing because they're parallel. So this is your answer. 2/3. 2/3 is your answer because they're looking for the slope of line 2. See, I have a little M2 because that means slope of line 2. And that's all you need to give them for that. All right, let's look at number 9. Negative 8x plus 5y equals 7. Okay, we got to put it in y equals mx plus b format. Let's get started. And again, we're looking for the slope of line 2. This is line 1. We don't know what line 2 is. We don't even know what slope it is, but we can figure it out. So we're going to add 8x to both sides. And I get 5y equals 8x plus 7. Divide everything by 5. I get y equals 8 over 5x plus 7 over 5. All right, again, this is still line 1. All right, so what is the slope for line 1? What is the slope for line 1? It's 8 over 5. Now, let's pretend that we need this. Well, they asked, what's the slope for line 2 if they're parallel? Well, parallel lines have the same slope. So there you go. It's 8 over 5 because they have to be the same if they're parallel. And that's what the directions are asking. Okay, 11. Did I do 11? Okay. This time it says state the slope of a line perpendicular to the given line. Okay, this time we're doing perpendicular. Okay, so we're doing the same thing as we did up here, but this time we're going to find the perpendicular slope. So they gave us 2x minus 10y equals 3. We got to put it in that y equals mx plus b format. This is line 1. So we're going to subtract 2x, and we get negative 10y equals negative 2x plus 3. We're going to divide by negative 10. Again, if you need to pause because I'm going fast, that's fine. We get negative over negative is a positive. And this is positive over negative, so it's negative 3 over 10. Okay, now don't forget to put in lowest terms. Basically reduce. Divide the top and the bottom by 2. Y'all have already done this. And you get 1 over 5x minus 3 over 10. Okay, so this is line 1 still. So line 1 slope is what, boys and girls? 1 over 5. So this time we're not looking for parallel, we're looking for perpendicular. Perpendicular. Remember perpendicular slopes? They are the opposite. This is positive, so this slope is going to be negative. So the slope of the second line is going to be negative. This is 1 over 5, so the other one would be 5 over 1, or just negative 5. Okay? Perpendicular slopes have opposite slopes. So if they're asking what the slope is for the second line that's perpendicular, it's going to be the opposite. If they say what's the slope of the second line parallel, they're going to be the same. Okay? So if you need to pause this, you can. Excuse me. All right, moving right along. Oh dear, I am so confused here. I'll figure it out later. Okay. 13. Same thing. 4x minus y equals 13. We got to put it in this format first. We're still looking for your perpendicular slope. All right, so I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. And I get negative y equals negative 4x plus 13. Can I have a negative y right there? Nope, you cannot. Y equals this becomes a positive, and that becomes a negative. All right, this is line 1 still. So the slope of line 1 is what? It's 4. So then if I were to do a second line that's perpendicular to this, what would the slope be? Well, this is positive. This one's going to be negative. And this is 4, so this one would be 1 over 4. Remember, if they are perpendicular, they're opposites. Opposite. Because they're perpendicular. Okay? Kids get confused on that. If they're parallel, they would be the same. Parallel lines have same slope. Same slope. All right, let's do number 17. Okay, number 17 says use the point slope form to write the slope intercept form of the equation of the line parallel to the given line and passing through the given point. All right, we're dealing with what? That's right. They say in the directions to use point slope formula, and you're finding parallel lines. Okay, so the key word in your directions got to, I would underline this right here where it says parallel in your directions, underline that. In the next set of directions, in the next group, it's going to say do the exact same thing but perpendicular. Underline or circle those words, okay? All right, I hate that I'm not there teaching this right now, but it's okay. All right, so they gave you x plus y equals -4, but they also gave you the point 7 and 0. So what you're doing is they gave you one line. This is line 1. And they want you to find the second line. See, up here we were just finding slopes. Now they want you to find the second line using this, find slopes, and this point, saying it's passing through this point. So this is your x1, that's your y1. Remember that? Ordered pair, x1, y1. First, we're going to put this in that y equals mx plus b format. So I'm going to rewrite it real quick. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides, and I get y equals -x minus 4. All right, this is line 1. What's the slope for line 1? -1. If these are to be parallel lines, what should the slope of line 2 be? -1 as well. -1 as well, but we're not done. They want us to find the line now. We need to find the second line using this slope. See, now we know the slope, so it's not going to be that bad. We're going to use the point slope formula, and that is this one. Yes, today you got lots of notes. I'm sorry, it is what it is. We're going to plug in the x1, y1 here and the slope. Okay? So I have y minus y1. Here is y1. It's 0 equals slope. There's my slope. -1 times x minus x1. There is my x1. So this right here is going to go into that y1 and the x1. Your slope is going to go right here. Your slope for your second line. Do you know how many kids put the 1 on the first? And it doesn't matter when it's parallel, but when we do perpendicular, you got to put the second one into this line because we're looking for the second line. Now you start working. Y minus 0 equals -1 times x is -1x. -1 times -7 is +7. You don't even need to move that sucker over. That's 0, so just get rid of it. There's your second line, line 2. So guess what? That's your answer. I'll just rewrite it for you. And yes, if you want to get rid of that -1, it would look like this. There you go. Whoops, can't see it. There you go. So all you do, you can rewind this and look again. We're going to plug in our x1 or y1 into this formula. And I'm going to put a star here so you can find it. So I have y minus 0 is your y1 equals my slope of my second line is -1 times x. The y and the x just stay the way they are. x1 right here. Solve it, get it in that y equals mx plus b format, and you're done. Okay? All right, let's do another. I'm running out of time here. And yes, you do have homework tonight. You haven't really you had a free day on Friday, so we're catching up. All right, 19 is the same thing. We're looking for parallel. So I have x minus 9y equals -1. That's going to be your line 1. And they said going through point -1, -8. That is your x1 and y1. Okay? Let's get started. We have to first put this into the y equals mx plus b format to get our slope. So I'm going to move over my x, and I have -9y equals -x minus 1. So now I'm going to divide by -9, and I get y equals negative over negative is a positive. That would be 1 over 9x, and then negative over negative again is positive. Okay, that is again line 1. So then on my slope for line 1 is what? 1 over 9. So then the slope for line 2, they're parallel, so it's going to be the same. There we go. So now I'm going to use that other formula. And I'm going to start plugging it in. All right, so I have y minus y1. There's my y1. -8. Make sure you do that correctly. Equals slope 1 over 9 minus x1, -1. Okay, negative, what does that give me? That's right, positive. So fix that. All right, now let's do the work. Distributive property. Okay, so I have y plus 8 equals 1 over 9 times x. 1 over 9 times x is 1 over 9x. 1 over 9 times 1 is just 1 over 9. All right, now comes the ugly. We have to subtract 8 on both sides. That's right, boys and girls. We're subtracting fractions. Have to get a common denominator. That would be 9. 1 goes into 9 times, so 9 times 8 is 72. You do the math, you get -71 over 9. So then we have y equals 1 over 9x minus 71 over 9. And that's in y equals mx plus b format. There's your answer. That is line 2. Okay? All right. I'm going to do 2 more. That's right, 2 more. Yeah. I'm going to do 21. This, you're doing the same thing, but it's perpendicular. Perpendicular. All right, so we have line 1 is x plus y equals 8 going through 0.04. Some of you that have already caught on could probably start working. Just hint, hint, hint. If you're doing this by yourself. All right, so I'm going to subtract x on both sides. All right, I'm already done. That's line 1. So what is the slope of line 1? It's negative 1. And so what would the slope, what would the slope of line 2 be? No, not negative 1. We're looking for perpendicular this time. That's what the direction said. So instead of negative 1 over 1, really, it's going to be positive 1. And yes, I know, it should be negative 1 over 1, so this one will be positive 1 over 1. Same thing. So there's your slope for your second line that's perpendicular. Remember, opposite. All right, so let's go back to that formula. See, I'm trying to hurry and I'm making mistakes. Okay, so now we're going to substitute. I have y minus y1. Here's y1. 4 equals my slope of my second line right here. 1 times a plain old x minus x1. 0. All right, let's get going. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. So this stays the same. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times 0 is 0. You only have to write it. So now I'm going to add 4 on both sides. And I get y equals 1x plus 4. There is the second line. There you go. You could also say y equals x plus 4. I don't care. Neither does IXL. Okay, last one, guys. You can pause or just keep working. 25. All right, here we go. This is ugly. This is big. And then you're going to be set free. So 5x plus 7y equals negative 12. Yeah, this is 25. I skipped 23 because it was done. Going through line or point 3, 0. All right, this is line 1. And I have x1 and y1. Okay. Oh, yeah. We got to put this in y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. And I get 7y equals negative 5x minus 12. I'm going to divide 7 on both sides. And I get y equals negative 5 over 7x minus 12 over 7. Okay, since this is line 1, what is my slope? It looks like I'm done. The slope for line 1 is negative 5 over 7. Now, what, pray tell, is the slope for line 2 if they're perpendicular? This is negative, it's going to be positive. This is 5 over 7, it's going to be 7 over 5. Don't make that mistake of doing that wrong. So opposites, negative, positive, and you flip them. Now, let's go to that formula, that weird formula, and start plugging it in. And then you're going to be done. Y minus y1 is 0. Am I doing all right? Yes. Equals the slope of the second line, 7 over 5, times x minus x1, which is 3. Now we work. This is your distributive property. I have y minus 0 equals 7 over 5 times x is just 7 over 5 x. 7 over 5 times negative 3, that's right, negative 21 over 5. 7 times 3 is 21, and then it's really just 5 times 1. Okay? All right, so, oh, there's a 0 there. But really, it doesn't matter because, I mean, what do you do with that? Nothing. So your answer is y equals 7 over 5x minus 21 over 5. That's an y equals mx plus b format. You are done. You're done. That's your answer. Perpendicular line has opposite, slopes. Okay, your homework is going to be page 259 to 260. I'm almost done. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, you got 13 problems. Numbers 2, whoops, you guess it'd be nice to see that. 2 through 24 even. I want to give you more. Yep. 2 through 28 even. All right, that's 15 problems. That's due Tuesday. Yes, I know this was a long video. It's okay. You haven't had homework in forever. All right, there you go. Your IXL is due Friday. You have a test Friday. Okay, get to work. Bye, guys. See you hopefully soon.